Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak about one of the most profound truths you can hold on to in this life. God is with you always. Now, if there's one thing I've learned in my years of study, observation, and personal experience, it's that this truth can transform how we live our lives each day. But here's the thing, it's not always easy to remember, is it? When we talk about God's presence, we're talking about a connection that transcends the ordinary and brings us something powerful, peace and strength. Imagine for a moment a life where no matter what storms rage around you, there's an unshakable calm within. That's what God's presence offers us. This isn't about wishing away challenges or denying their reality. It's about finding an inner fortress, a place where peace and strength are always available. Think about it, life constantly throws curveballs our way. Financial troubles, health scares, relationships that test us, all of these things are inevitable. And often they come when we least expect it, catching us off guard and knocking us down. But when we live with the awareness of God's presence, something remarkable happens. We discover that we don't have to face these storms alone. Instead, we can lean into a deep, abiding peace that comes from knowing there's a force greater than ourselves walking alongside us. It's like having an anchor in the midst of life's rough seas, a steady, unfailing support that keeps us grounded, even when everything else feels out of control. You see, God's presence doesn't eliminate the difficulties of life. It doesn't magically make every day smooth or free of stress. But what it does is offer us the strength to endure, to persevere, and most importantly, to find calm in the chaos. It's this calm that transforms our perception of what's possible. With God's presence, we learn to respond to life's pressures rather than merely react to them. We start to see ourselves as capable, equipped to handle what comes our way, and resilient in the face of adversity. In moments of doubt or fear, this awareness of God's presence can shift everything. We become aware that we are not alone in our struggles. We're not isolated in our pain or worry. God is with us, and His presence infuses our spirit with the courage and confidence to keep going. And because of that, we can face challenges not as overwhelming obstacles, but as opportunities to grow, to strengthen our faith, and to become more than we thought possible. Living in this peace doesn't mean that life becomes easy, but it does mean that life becomes manageable. The struggles still exist, but they're put into perspective. God's presence reminds us that we're part of something bigger, something that transcends our momentary troubles. And that reminder fills us with an inner strength, a quiet confidence, a resilience that allows us to stand strong no matter what comes. So as you go through each day, remember that this peace and strength are available to you. In God's presence, there's a wellspring of calm and courage waiting for you to tap into. It's a source of true strength that doesn't waver, doesn't give up, and is there for you always. This idea, simple yet profound, is something we often need to be reminded of, especially when life gets tough. We all face moments when we feel isolated, as if no one else could understand our struggles or carry the burdens we bear. It's easy to look around and think that we're navigating life by ourselves, but this couldn't be further from the truth. The fact is, no matter how alone you may feel, God is right there with you. He's there in the quiet moments, the chaotic ones, the highs and the lows, always present, always watching, always supporting. Consider for a moment how differently we might approach our lives if we kept this truth close to our hearts. Imagine facing each day knowing you are accompanied by a source of unconditional love and understanding. It means that even in the times when friends aren't available, when family is busy, or when circumstances make us feel alone, we have a companion who understands us completely. God's presence becomes that comforting assurance that we can draw on, a constant reminder that we are never truly isolated, never forgotten. Think of it this way: when you feel alone, it's easy to spiral into fear or self-doubt, to start questioning your worth or your purpose. But remembering God's constant companionship shifts your perspective. You start to realize that even in your loneliest moments, you're part of something greater. His presence doesn't just fill a void, it strengthens you, giving you courage and resolve. It allows you to step forward in faith, knowing you are supported, seen, and loved. In fact, this awareness can transform the way we face challenges. When we know that God is with us, we can take on things we might not otherwise attempt. We have the courage to step out of our comfort zones, to face challenges with a new sense of purpose. Suddenly, fear doesn't seem so overwhelming because we know we're not walking the path alone. In every challenge, every struggle, every success, God is right there, guiding and encouraging us, quietly present as we move through life's journey. This companionship is a gift, one that many people overlook. But by embracing it, by fully believing that God is with us always, we unlock a profound sense of peace and security. We can move forward with confidence, knowing we have a companion who is always there. And in that companionship, we find a wellspring of strength that sustains us, that reminds us of our value, and that fills us with hope. Life is full of difficult moments, times when we're tested and tried in ways that can feel overwhelming. But here's the beautiful thing about faith: it doesn't just give us strength to endure these moments, it allows us to see them differently. Faith shifts our perspective so that instead of looking at challenges as obstacles, we begin to see them as opportunities for growth, transformation, and deeper understanding. This isn't about ignoring the reality of hardship, it's about seeing it through the lens of trust and purpose. Think about the way most people approach a challenge. The instinct is often to avoid it, to feel stressed, or to let fear take the wheel. It's natural to feel that way. After all, uncertainty can be uncomfortable, and failure is something we all want to avoid. But faith gives us an alternative. It tells us this is not the end. This struggle has a purpose, and through it, you are becoming stronger with faith. A challenge stops being something to dread and starts being a pathway towards something greater. Faith allows us to ask the right questions during hard times. Instead of why me, we start to ask, what can I learn from this? How can this experience shape me for the better? When we approach challenges with this kind of curiosity, we open ourselves up to transformation. Every difficult situation becomes a chance to grow in patience, resilience, compassion, and wisdom. In fact, it's often in these tough times that we discover aspects of ourselves we never knew existed. We find reserves of strength, courage, and wisdom that might have stayed hidden if we had never been challenged. And faith doesn't just change the way we see challenges, it changes how we respond to them. When we believe that there's a purpose behind our struggles, we start to act in ways that reflect that belief. Instead of feeling defeated, we find ourselves taking proactive steps, looking for ways to improve, to overcome, to learn. This isn't just about powering through, it's about embracing a mindset of growth. With faith, we don't just wait for the storm to pass, we decide to become better, wiser, and stronger as a result of it. There's also a deep humility that comes with facing challenges in faith. We realize that we can't control everything, and that's okay. Faith reminds us that while we may not always understand the reason for our struggles, there is a bigger plan at work. This acceptance brings a peace that's hard to find anywhere else. It teaches us that we don't have to have all the answers, and we don't have to do it all on our own. We're invited to lean on God's strength, to trust in His wisdom, and to believe that even the most painful experiences can be used for good. One of the most powerful aspects of faith is that it allows us to see beyond the present moment. In the middle of a challenge, it's easy to feel trapped, to think that things will never improve. But faith gives us a long-term perspective. It tells us that even though we may not see the full picture now, there's something greater unfolding. Just like a seed must go through darkness to grow into a tree, we too must sometimes endure hardship to become who we're meant to be. This doesn't make the pain any less real, but it does make it purposeful. Faith transforms our pain from something to escape into something to grow from. With faith, every challenge becomes a chance to deepen our relationship with God. When we're pushed to our limits, we often find ourselves reaching out, praying more, and seeking guidance. These moments of vulnerability bring us closer to God, reminding us that we are never alone. And in that closeness, we find a strength that transcends our own abilities. We realize that we're part of something greater, something that gives our lives meaning, even in the midst of difficulty. So the next time you face a challenge, remember this: faith isn't just a coping mechanism, it's a way of transforming adversity into opportunity. It's a reminder that every challenge is a stepping stone on the path to growth. Faith empowers us to see beyond the struggle, to trust in the process, and to believe in the beauty of what lies on the other side. Through faith, we learn that challenges don't have to break us, they can shape us, refine us, and prepare us for the amazing things we're meant to accomplish. Living with faith invites us to approach each day with a clear sense of purpose and a heart full of gratitude. These two qualities, purpose and gratitude, are like the compass and the fuel of a life grounded in faith. Purpose gives us direction, showing us where we want to go, and gratitude keeps us energized and joyful along the journey. Together, they create a powerful combination that transforms how we live, love, and give. When you act with purpose, you're moving forward with intention. Instead of simply reacting to what life throws at you, you're choosing to engage with your day, your actions, and your decisions in a meaningful way. Purpose means asking yourself, what am I here to do? How can I use this day to serve, to grow, to make a difference? And purpose doesn't have to mean grand, world-changing missions. It can be something as simple as striving to be a kind person, being present for your loved ones, or working diligently at whatever tasks are before you. When you have a purpose, life feels richer because each action has meaning behind it. Purpose also gives us resilience. When we know what we're working toward, it's easier to handle setbacks or challenges along the way. Knowing your purpose helps you stay focused even when things get tough, because you're reminded of the why behind your actions. It's like a guiding light that helps you keep going no matter the obstacles. Purpose transforms the way you look at time and energy, because everything you do becomes aligned with something bigger, something meaningful. And then there's gratitude, which is like a key that unlocks joy and peace in any circumstance. Gratitude is the practice of seeing the good in your life, even when it feels like things are far from perfect. It's not about pretending everything is ideal, rather, it's about acknowledging and appreciating the blessings that are already present. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. It fills your heart with appreciation for each breath, each experience, and each opportunity. And when you live in this state of thankfulness, your perspective changes. Life no longer feels like a series of obligations, it feels like a gift. Living with gratitude can transform even the most ordinary moments. Washing dishes becomes a chance to appreciate the food you've enjoyed, working becomes a way to express thankfulness for your abilities, and connecting with others becomes a reminder of the love and support that surrounds you. Gratitude doesn't make challenges disappear, but it does make them more manageable. It reminds us that even when times are hard, there are still things to be thankful for. It allows us to see the silver linings and keeps us grounded in hope and positivity. Purpose and gratitude together create a life of fullness and faith. Purpose keeps us moving forward, while gratitude keeps us connected to the present. When we live this way, we find ourselves not only striving toward our goals, but also appreciating the journey. It's about balancing the desire to improve with the contentment of knowing we are already blessed. This mindset leads to a deeper kind of joy, one that isn't dependent on circumstances, but is rooted in the knowledge that we are living out a life of meaning. Purpose and gratitude also influence how we interact with others. When we are clear on our purpose, we're more likely to act with integrity and compassion, because we know that our actions impact more than just ourselves. And when we approach others with gratitude, we see them not just as acquaintances or colleagues, but as individuals who bring value and meaning to our lives. We treat them with respect, kindness, and appreciation because we recognize their importance in our journey. Living with purpose and gratitude means we're intentional about how we use our time, our resources, and our talents. It means making choices that align with our values and being thankful for every opportunity we have to make a positive difference. Whether we're working toward a big dream or simply going through our daily routines, acting with purpose and gratitude helps us live each moment fully, with faith that every step has meaning. In the end, purpose and gratitude remind us of the beauty of the present and the hope of the future. They encourage us to live not just for ourselves, but for something greater, something lasting. And in doing so, they allow us to experience life more deeply with hearts full of love, joy, and peace. When we act with purpose and gratitude, we are truly living in harmony with our faith, drawing closer to God, and creating lives that reflect His goodness in all that we do. Life is full of changing seasons, times of growth, times of waiting, moments of joy, and seasons of hardship. Each one brings its own challenges and blessings, its own lessons and opportunities. Embracing every season means learning to accept life's natural ebb and flow, trusting that every phase, no matter how difficult or delightful, has a purpose and can bring us closer to God. When we're in a season of joy and success, it's easy to feel like everything is right, like we're exactly where we're meant to be. But even in these times, it's essential to stay humble, to recognize that these blessings are not solely the result of our own efforts, but are gifts from God. Embracing this season means celebrating fully, living with gratitude, and sharing our joy and abundance with others. When we acknowledge our blessings and express gratitude, we deepen our connection with God and gain a greater appreciation for the season we're in. But life doesn't always stay in this place of ease and happiness. Seasons of hardship and waiting inevitably come along. These seasons can be challenging, filled with uncertainty, loss, or pain. It's natural to want to rush through them, to wish we could fast forward to easier times. Yet, these difficult periods hold some of the most valuable lessons. They teach us patience, resilience, and humility. They remind us of our dependence on God, urging us to lean into our faith. Embracing these seasons doesn't mean pretending they're easy or enjoyable. It means finding the strength to accept them, trusting that God has a plan even when we can't see it. In times of waiting, when we feel like we're caught between dreams or goals, it can be easy to feel frustrated or discouraged. But these seasons of waiting are often where the most profound growth happens. There are opportunities to develop patience, to reflect on our lives, and to deepen our relationship with God. Waiting teaches us to trust in God's timing, to recognize that sometimes the best things take time. Instead of seeing waiting as a waste, we can see it as a period of preparation. We can ask ourselves, how can I use this time to grow? What is God teaching me here? When we embrace these questions, waiting becomes a season of transformation, a time when we can ready ourselves for the blessings to come. Seasons of growth are also essential. They might involve stepping outside our comfort zones, learning new skills, or deepening our spiritual lives. Growth can be uncomfortable, stretching us in ways we might resist. But it's also a time of great reward as we become more resilient, more compassionate, and more in tune with our purpose. Embracing seasons of growth means accepting the discomfort that comes with change and trusting that every step forward is bringing us closer to who we're meant to be. It's a time to celebrate progress, to acknowledge how far we've come, and to set our sights on what lies ahead with confidence. Life seasons also include times of rest, times when we're called to pause, reflect, and recharge. In a world that's always pushing us to do more, rest is often undervalued. But these seasons are just as important as the busy, productive times. Rest allows us to reconnect with ourselves, to remember what matters, and to draw closer to God. Embracing a season of rest means setting aside the need to constantly be productive and allowing ourselves to recharge, trusting that this pause is a necessary part of the journey. It's a chance to find peace, to reconnect with loved ones, and to nourish our spirit. Every season in life has its purpose. When we embrace each one, we're able to see that life's highs and lows aren't random or meaningless. They're part of a greater design. Through every change, every challenge, and every blessing, God is shaping us, teaching us, and guiding us toward a fuller, richer life. Embracing every season means living with faith and openness, knowing that God is with us in every moment, in every change. It's about trusting that each phase brings us one step closer to becoming the person we're meant to be, that each season holds its own form of beauty and grace. When we learn to accept and embrace every season of life, we find a deeper peace and a stronger sense of purpose. We become resilient, patient, and hopeful, knowing that no matter where we are, God's presence is constant and His plan is always unfolding. Embrace each season, live fully in the present, and trust that every moment is a meaningful part of your journey.